Call me crazy, but I think this is pretty exciting. Hey, it's Marek. A couple of years ago, a computer science student asked me for advice, how to be successful professionally. I don't really like to give advice because I'm not sure if my stories apply to other people's lives, but sure, I shared what I thought was important. I said, be curious, always challenge and question everything, understand the business side of things, and build. I also said, there's a quick hack. If you want to make a lot of money quickly, learn COBOL. COBOL is an old, almost ancient programming language that was introduced in the 1960s. It stands for Common Business-Oriented Language. And there's still a lot of computer systems that are controlled by COBOL. In fact, in the US, around 95% of ATMs are still controlled by software written in COBOL. Now, if you think about it, programming language that's 60 plus years old has not a lot of software engineers around that could write or maintain the code. That's the trick here. A lot of software engineers have retired, so those who are still around can be charging much higher rates for what they do. And vendors who still help maintain those COBOL systems will be charging a lot of money as well. And there's a lot of those COBOL systems, not just ATMs in the US. My driver license sits somewhere in a computer system at my state government, and that computer system looks a bit like a system from 70s or 80s. It's very expensive to move out of those systems, or it has been, perhaps it was very expensive, which is my point. So you might have heard that about a week ago, IBM's stocks went down quite dramatically, around 40 billion US dollars lost in market value of IBM in just one day. There was a bit of a correction later on, but there was a massive drop. I think the biggest in around 25 years for IBM. Why did it happen? Because Anthropic, the creators of Claude Code, and so on, have demonstrated how Claude Code can easily analyze COBOL written software and help organizations migrate out of those systems. Now, they only demonstrated something that has been available in Claude Code for a while. It's just not everyone was aware that Claude Code was able to do things like this. Just demonstration. It wasn't even a product launch that has led to such a sharp drop in the company value. That made me think about what's happening here. And what we're seeing is something fairly interesting. It demonstrates how a lot of organizations have built their business models not on just uniqueness of their systems or having proprietary systems, as we would call them in the IT world, but they have also built their competitive advantage on the incomprehensibility of those systems. And if you think this is wild, consider that businesses invite vendors to meetings just to understand what their systems, the systems that will be running at those organizations, what those systems are capable of. How strange is that, right? You have a system that's running in your organization, and in order to understand what the system is capable of, you have to invite the vendors of those systems to tell you what those capabilities are, right? To some of you, it might sound like a normal thing. Of course, we would ask a vendor to tell us that. But when you think a bit more about it, I think you'll start to realize that it shouldn't be like this, right? This really shows how incomprehensible those systems are. So in the IT world, the term for it is building a moat, as in, the body of water, the tiny body of water around a castle. You build a moat around your system so that it's very, very hard to access those systems or leave those systems. Then you build a bridge and you charge everyone for the bridge. Now, what we've seen with Claude Code and the demonstration on how easy it is to analyze those COBOL-based systems and migrate out of them, get your data out of them. What we've seen there is what I would call drying the moat. So you're basically using an AI system to remove that barrier that keeps you from accessing the system. And suddenly, whoever built that bridge cannot charge you for the bridge anymore because you don't need it. Turns out that the moat is just a ditch. And the castle is still there, the system is still there, but the AI systems that we all have access to right now are helping us make access to those systems easy. Some refer to it as SaaS apocalypse, as in SaaS, software as a service, apocalypse, SaaS apocalypse. And look, it's actually pretty fascinating when you think about what is possible at the moment. I'm a bit like a zombie these days, mostly because I don't sleep much. And I don't sleep much because I spend a lot of time writing code. In fact, in the last 2 weeks, I've written more code than in the past 10 years or so, just before that. I was not writing code in the past 10 years, but when I realized how capable those AI systems are, I just keep doing it. I have my iPhone in front of me right now. For those of you who watch the video, you'll be able to briefly see something. I cannot really zoom into that because it might have too much detail. But in the last week or two, I've built a set of applications, a desktop application, an iPhone application that access all of my systems where I have some data. Think my email, think my social networks, think all the messages that I have. It combines all the data into one place and then performs all sorts of analysis on that, which helped me create something that I would refer to as a personal customer relationship management system, where on my phone, on my desktop, I have all of the contacts that I normally interact with. We're talking about not personal contacts, but business contacts. And for all of them, I have recommendations, how they fit into my strategy, what should the next actions be, what are some risks in terms of, my strategic goals and the network that I currently work with, and so on and so on. This all I was able to build by myself with the help of an AI software writing agent, which is absolutely fantastic. I would never be able to get an application like that from anywhere. It's something that's custom built for me. But back to the topic of this particular podcast, I was able to do it because I'm able to dry the moat. I'm able to access systems that were previously inaccessible. And so I feel so confident about the ability of building applications that get access to internal protected data, protected as in with a moat around them, that I'm pretty confident I could walk into your organization, whatever that organization is. You'd give me 2 weeks or so, and I'd be able to extract all the information, move it to a new system. Now, I'm not offering my services here. That's not what I do. But just to sort of give you the idea of the capabilities of those systems, this is absolutely stunning. So what's next, right? If suddenly we don't have that competitive advantage that a lot of companies have been building by making their systems very, very hard to move out from, that required those vendors to stay very close to you so that they could offer additional services to maintain those systems. What's next? I think we're going to see a lot of true competitive behavior, true competitiveness, not just, building a next version, a next lock-in of your application. It's going to be a bit like with iPhones or smartphones in general. So you build a device, right? Or in that case, you build a piece of software, and you probably have 6-12 months of time where everyone's excited. You might have a bit of an upper hand over your competition, but then in 12 months, everyone catches on and you have to come up with new features, new functions, something that really excites your customers so that they want to come back to you and get a new version, pay for that updated version. So call me crazy, but I think this is pretty exciting. And I think while everyone is worried about the challenges of AI written code, I think that shake-up of traditional business models and customer lock-in will lead to much more competition, much more creativity, and much more innovation in the IT market. So that's it from me for this week. I want to go back to improving my applications. I really love creating that code at the moment, so I'm gonna build, and you stay curious.